Welcome everybody to PinstripeChronicles podcast. I am Tats. I am here with Donald and Rob, and leading off for today's episode, we are going to be discussing Freddie Freeman as a possibility of first base over Rizzo. And they're two very comparable players, and both can significantly, help the Yankees seal up the infield. Do you think that Freddie Freeman is willing to leave the Braves or not give the Braves a chance to counteroffer anything that comes his way?
Ooh, I think he's going to give them every chance to counteroffer. At this point, what is he, 32, 33, around that area? He probably wants to finish his career in Atlanta. You know, I would assume he wants to, but if they don't give him an offer that he sees is deserving of what the kind of player that he is, he'll leave. You know, that's just the nature of the business. I mean, I just don't see it happening. I'll say that real quick. I think he ends up staying in Atlanta, but yeah, it would be crazy. I would just say it would be absolutely crazy if he's playing in another uniform. He's just one of those players that, like, you can't see putting on another jersey.
Yeah, no, exactly. And why I want him, as much as I would like for him to be a Yankee, I think he'd be a really good Yankee. He'd play well at the stadium, left-handed. Great defense, but you don't see players, of his caliber finishing a career in one place. We were able to watch it with Jeter and Posada, Rivera. We're seeing it with Gardner. The Yankees have had players that have, from day one to their last day, have worn the same uniform and represented their team properly. And I think Freeman is, especially in this day and age where free agents is run for money, I think it would really be good for his, I'm going to say, legacy if he does stay in the Braves uniform for his entire career. Donald, your thought?
Not interested in his legacy with Atlanta. So when during this deadline battle to get as many deals done as possible before the lockout, the fact that Freeman hadn't already signed with the Braves at that point was a mistake. It was a misstep by Atlanta. He gave him every opportunity to put out an offer, and it wasn't a good enough offer. And when you have that kind of bat on the market, it's a no-brainer for the Yankees to attack this option. The more as each day passed, and each day passed without Freeman signing, with re-signing with the Braves, the more I thought this is a golden opportunity for the Yankees to be the Yankees. This is where the Yankees can do what they did and blow Mark Teixeira away and get him to sign for the Yankees. You when you have that kind of bat, that's when you really need to be the Yankees. Remember back in the day when we actually could just blow free agents away and get it done. Like we blew CC Sabathia away from California, even though he was a West Coast guy. We were like, we're the Yankees. You know what I mean? So this is the opportunity. So further to that point, Jim Bowden of the Athletic was saying that he's expecting. He was saying on the MLB Network radio on Sirius XM that he expects the Yankees to make a run at Freeman. He says here that arguably he's the best first baseman in baseball. He says with that left-handed bat would suit the Yankees more than Olsen, and also he would also suit the Yankees more than Olsen because he is a bat first, not power guy necessarily. He can hit for power, but he's also got a great bat, and that is something that's needed. Plus, he's an excellent defensive first baseman. Plus, he's a world champion. That kind of bat is a no-brainer. So I think the Yankees will make a run at him, and I have a sneaky suspicion that it could happen. I think that it's one of those deals where Olsen's going to cost us. Well, we've already discussed what Olsen would cost the Yankees. They were saying that They're wanting Volpe, they're wanting Peraza, they're wanting, all our main prospects. But you can just go and get Freeman, who's just as good as Olsen, and just pay him. That's all the Yankees need to do. So I think that it's a no-brainer. John Heyman's reporting that the Yankees like him. Now Jim Bowden's saying that he expects the Yankees to make a run at him. So I really hope it comes to fruition.
No, and that's why I'm saying it. It's not that I don't want him on the team. I just, like Rob is saying as well. I don't see him at this point in time. I don't see him leaving the Braves, or not giving, saying, all right, going back to the Braves, saying, all right, can you beat this offer? At the same time,
will Atlanta actually match that offer?
That's another big.
Will Atlanta make that offer? Because they've had plenty of opportunity to do so. They had all year, plus the lockout, prior to the lockout, to sign him, and they haven't done it. So that's on them. If they don't get that done, then it gives us an opportunity to blow them away.
Yeah, but it was, very similar also to Jeter, where, he went out, he listened to a couple of teams, but we knew he was coming back. It was like, all right, go dip your toe in the water, and then we'll come back to us and we'll get it done.
Do you really think though? But what teams were legitimately after Derek Jeter? I mean, it's a different scenario. Like, I think all of baseball knew that Derek Jeter was going to re-sign for the Yankees, because the Derek Jeter and the Yankees were synonymous together. He was the captain and multiple world champion. I don't think it's exactly the same situation. There are a bunch of teams that are waiting for the Braves to make a misstep for Freddie Freeman, and they've already done so. So now it's given the opportunity for teams like the Yankees to make a run at them. So I don't think they're exactly the same. In fact, there could be a comparison with the fact that, remember when the Yankees stalled on re-signing Andy Pettitte? They didn't show enough to Andy Pettitte for him to re-sign. They ended up going and leaving elsewhere and went to the Astros. Remember that? Yeah, that was a mistake from the Yankees. So the Yankees were expected to sign him, but they didn't put together a proper offer. Or remember when Bernie Williams almost signed for the Red Sox because the Yankees didn't value him enough at the time when he hit free agency, and then George Steinbrenner was like, oh my God, he's going to sign for the Red Sox. So then we blew him away. So I think those comparisons are more likely than the Derek Jeter negotiations.
No, Rod, do you think that the Yankees are going to, if they go the free agent route, where do you see that? Because you're hearing a lot of talk about what to do with Peraza and Oswalt and Volpe. Do the Yankees, hug these prospects because they're deemed so, they're rated so high? Are the Yankees making a mistake by not capitalizing on their hype right now after what we saw with some of the other prospects? We saw with David Garcia, even Chance Adams was another one. When teams were interested in Andujar and Frazier, do the Yankees say, all right, we're not going to make that mistake again, let's just move some of these players for proven guys?
Well, the thing is, when you look at Volpe, he's the perfect trade candidate now because his stock has gone up so much over the last year, and he's only in single A, and he's going to, make his way up this year. Believe he's starting in double A, but that's still not enough to be like, that's your future. If there were one of the two that you probably hold on to based off of where they are, it'd be Peraza because he's the most ready now. But I think the fact that the Yankees haven't traded them yet, for a guy like Olsen tells me they're not going to, because when you trade a prospect like Volpe or Peraza, the guys who have the hype that they do, you want a sure thing. And that's what Matt Olsen is. If you trade it for Matt Olsen, you know what you're getting. You're getting a great defender. You're getting a great hitter. You're getting a lefty bat. You're getting 2 years at least of a premier player at a very tough position at first base. Look at it, because we've been struggling with first base until we got Rizzo. So, I mean, first base is a tough position. It's something that we had zero depth at all season long until the Rizzo trade. Even with the Rizzo trade, we didn't really have any depth there. So, the fact that they're not moving these guys tells me that they have them in their future plans, and whichever one of them plays shortstop, the others probably move into third or maybe even second. But Olsen is the kind of guy you trade for, and Volpe right now has that. His potential and his value is through the roof based on what happened last year and the way he shot over Dominguez in our prospect ratings. Remember, Dominguez was getting compared to Mickey Mantle. So the fact that Volpe took him over in the prospect rankings right now would be the perfect time to move him for a player of a caliber of Olsen or maybe even a Brian Reynolds. That's the guy I still think I would love the Yankees to trade for is Brian Reynolds, but that's another conversation. I just think that their plan was always get the first baseman, whether it be Rizzo or Freeman, through free agency, and then get the shortstop to be a stopgap until these guys are ready. Because if they were going to make that move, they would have done it. If they were going to spend at shortstop, they would have done it.
Yeah.
Also, if they were going to spend at first base, they would have done it. You think they would have gotten Rizzo done quickly, but maybe they really are in on Freeman. That's certainly a possibility. Maybe they were working on something with Freeman and the lockout happened. So the fact that these rumors are coming out now, to Donald's point, it's certainly a realistic possibility because he is a guy that would fit in this lineup beautifully. You put him between Judge and Stanton in this lineup, you've got a deadly middle of the order.
Yeah.
From 2 to 3 or wherever you're going to put him. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, whatever the order is, that's legit. And if you have a really good first baseman, it's something we talked about with Rizzo, the rest of the infield becomes better. So you can survive with a not elite shortstop if you have a really good first baseman that can pick those low throws out. That's why Rizzo was so important for us. So if it's Rizzo or it's Freeman, there's no wrong answer there. No. It's just really a matter of who costs more and do they want to give the years to guys that are over the age of 30? Because if they weren't doing it for a guy like Simeon, you got to wonder how long the offer will be, the contract offer will be for a guy like Freeman.
Probably about 6 years. They're probably you're not going to get much less than 6 years. 5 if you're lucky, but I think you're probably looking at 6 years. Just looking at a source of comparison, because I think the comparison is between Olsen and Freeman. I don't know if the Yankees are all that interested in Rizzo, because if the Yankees really wanted Rizzo, they could have gone him prior to the lockout. They've been negotiating trades with the A's and Matt Olsen. So the Olsen has a 5.8 WAR this year, 39 home runs, 271 batting average, bats left, throws right. I mean, that's 39 home runs. It's a Yankees dream right there. He bats left. It's fantastic. He's young. He's got upside, but he's going to cost you several top prospects. So as you're mentioning there, Volpe, but there's also 2 other shortstop possibilities in Oswaldo Cabrera, Peraza. The Yankees can't keep all 3. What I mean? It doesn't make much sense. So I think Volpe would be the one the Yankees want to keep because he has a higher upside. Peraza is the most defensive ready right now, but his bat isn't necessarily ready that we've heard. So you would think that maybe Peraza would be on the block. Cabrera is versatile. He can play a bunch of positions. So you'd wonder whether the Yankees keep a hold of him because he could possibly play second base in the future. So that was the Matt Olsen. So he's got a 5.8 WAR. But then you got Freddie Freeman. Let's see what Freddie's. He's got a 4.7 WAR, but he bat 331 home runs. So 30 points higher batting average wise. Although I know the Yankees don't exactly rate batting average, but I'm sorry, if you bat 300, you're pretty damn good, and you hit 30 home runs, and 4.8 WAR is excellent too. It's a no lose. It's just Freddie Freeman's not going to cost you prospects, So they're both fantastic options, but he's not going to cost you multiple prospects. It's only going to cost you money. I think the Yankees should go after Freeman as a priority.
Yeah, the other prospect you're really not hearing much talk about, that even though he was just drafted and it's going to be a couple of years before we start to see where he's going to fall in the rankings, is Sweeney is always an option for first base. Austin Wells could be moved to first base rather than the catching position. So they do have. It seems like they're trying to get backup plans to their backup plans, which they haven't done in a long time. What was it? Just a few years ago when Greg Bird went down, we went through in 1 month we had 6 different first basemen. So they really that was the year we had another year where we had tons of injury. So Sweeney's another guy to keep an eye on. What do they do with Austin Wells? Do they move him to playing first base, or do they try to keep him behind the plate and really hone on some skills and help him develop? So there's a lot of question marks with first base. And, like you said, Donald, we all talked about, they should have had this all taken care of before the lockout. We knew that, we speculated that shortstop was going to be the thing that took the longest to resolve. But first baseman should have been an easy decision at this point, that we talked about. So who knows what they're going to be doing. I really
But then
we don't even know when we're going to have baseball.
If it is Freeman that they really want, then obviously that probably wasn't an option prior to the lockout, because we've got the Atlanta Braves, trying to make offers and stuff like that. It hasn't happened, which often opens up the opportunity for us to make a run at him right after the deadline. We bat 341 in the shortened season. 341. Could you imagine having that in the middle of our order, or even batting second or something like that? That would open up so many opportunities for us. I love the idea of someone that could just put the ball in play. I think that's so underrated. If you guys had a comparison, Olsen, that's going to cost us, say, maybe 3 of our top prospects, right? Or Freeman, who's older but bats 40, 50 points higher, batting average wise, and similar home run production. Where would you fall on that,
Rob?
I'd go Freeman because I don't care about the money part, because it's not my money that they're spending. I've been called, and I like to consider myself a prospect hugger. So I want to keep those guys, and I want to trade them for, a position that I feel like we need more right now, which is center field. That's why I keep going back to Brian Reynolds. Because I would much rather have him out there than Aaron Hicks or even Joey Gallo. I don't want, I want Gallo in center field this year. I just don't want him out there every day. Anyway, with Freeman, if you get him for 6 years, you're going to get him till his age 38, 39 season. It's not ideal to pay a guy till he's nearly 40, but at the same time, if you get 4 really, really good years out of those 6, you're not really going to care about the final 2 years. Did we really care that, a lot of people did, but I did. With A-Rod, how good he was the first, 6 years for us, whatever. And then when he got older and started getting hurt and the steroids wore off, everyone, we really didn't care because we got our championship and he got us some MVPs. You're like, he was great. He was a great player. So if you get 4 great years out of Freeman and the last 2 are kind of like, you just live with it. It's 2 years, whatever. And I don't think he's the kind of player that he's just going to drop. He's going to go from really good to really bad because he's always been a good player, so I think that's the smartest option. If you're not going to trade the prospects and you spend the money, you can't not spend money and not trade prospects and expect the team to be improved, because then you're playing a dangerous game of sticking with what we have, which is Luke Voit or DJ LeMahieu, and then you're just playing with fire and saying, well, they've got to be better because we know what they're capable of. Then you're playing a dangerous game. You have to improve one of the positions, whether it's shortstop or first base, has to have a significant improvement this year. And that's something that we said right before we got to the offseason. They have to choose which one is priority 1, because you have to get that knocked out first. So
that's where you dance with the devil, man. You're quite right. When you go into free agency, and you're going at the top of the market like the Yankees do. That's when you dance with the market, because you dance with the devil, because you're always paying for the front end of the contract. I mean, Garrett Cole, 9 years. No one's expecting him to be a Cy Young candidate in another 5 or 6 years. So you're always paying for what he's giving you in the front end of the contract, the first 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
And it'll be the very same with Freeman. You know, there's when you're in free agency and they're slightly older, you know, and you're having to go into the years of 6, 7, and all that stuff, you know that you're not going to get at the back end the same production you're going to get at the front end. So you just have to take that risk and deal with it when you get there. You hope that when the time comes that they're still productive enough, or that at least you have other options where it's not such a big problem. So you're going to have to make that bed and lie with it when you get there. But with Freeman, if you sign up for 6 and you get 4 quality all-star caliber years, then you take that all the time.
No, you have to take advantage of that. It's first base, Freeman, Rizzo, having if Voigt's still around as your bench player or first base DH, there are options that the Yankees have. They have the prospects to make a move for Olsen, or shore up center field going after Reynolds. So there's so many question marks, and we don't know when we're going to be able to address those questions. So, it's just such a pain in the ass. It really is. This lockout is really starting to make a big hindrance on the future of what the Yankees are going to be able to do. So,
what do you guys think? What do you guys think of the fact that the MLBPA rejected the opportunity to have a mediator?
I just think they're being stubborn.
They suck. How many times are we going to say it? They suck. All of them. F them all. I'm so sick of it. They absolutely. Oh, I almost did it. Sorry, Thomas. They absolutely suck. I'm so sick of it. The stubbornness, the greediness, awful.
Yeah. But look at they're driving me nuts. They really do. Both sides. I've just completely lost. I have no patience for any of them anymore.
Can I say one more thing? One more thing, actually.
Go ahead.
Remember during 2020 when they kept saying, "Tell us when and where, and we'll play," and the MLB said, "Okay, well, we wanted this date." No. Now players are starting to tweet out, the players are ready to make a deal, but you're declining for this to try to get it moving along quicker. This is why I can't pick a side here. Because everyone's like, the players should have a right. No. The players are declining everything the owners are throwing at them, and the owners are doing the exact same thing to the players. They both are to blame.
Yeah.
Please open your eyes.
It's everybody's fault.
Thank you. Tony Clark, you suck. Manfred, you suck. I hate you. I hope somehow there's a way for baseball to expunge them from the sport forever and get someone else at the top, because this is sickening. 3 months we're going on of a lockout. This is disgusting.
Yeah, and if the mediator comes in, it's going to be even longer.
Yeah,
it's not going to get resolved any faster.
Finger pointing. You did it. No, you did it. No, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's a sandbox again. It's what I said early when it started. Kindergarten sandbox fight. It's my sandcastle. No, I started. Like, whatever. He started the fight. No, it was him. There it is. Manfred and Clark going at it like school children, you little pricks. Oh, I'm sorry.
Do you know what's really funny in all this? Marcus Stroman tweeted, "Man clown and his boys need to figure it out and stop ruining the game of baseball." How many times in the last few years have you ever found yourself agreeing with Marcus Stroman on social media? And now we found him. This is one of the instances. Like, full credit to Marcus Stroman for calling him man clown. That's phenomenal work. Well said.
The problem with Marcus Stroman. The problem with Marcus Stroman is there's only 5 people he hasn't blocked yet that are able to see what he's actually saying.
I'm one of them. He hasn't blocked me.
We'll dive more into
me either. I managed to see that. I was quite happy with it. I like man clown. What else would you call him? Man fraud? I like man fraud. I think man fraud's quite good. Man
douchebag.
or just douchebag. Tats, have you got a name for him?
The killer of dreams.
A thief of joy.
But we're going to get on more Manfred and Tony Clark on our next episode, because there's a lot that I want to get into with some of the new developments with the drug program, with the drug testing. So that really needs a lot of attention. And we'll get into that on the next show. So just remember, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Listen to us on sportname.com/player. You could also now watch us on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku. So enjoy your day.
Thank you so much.
Yep. Stay safe. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.